Hi guys, Legendary Basil Games here. So I believe that I've got a short theory video for you guys about Itachi's illness, and I might have some evidence to prove that that may have been his illness, but I'm not entirely sure. But I do have an illness very similar to it, and I did live through it, and I got it treated and stuff. So with that evidence to prove it, this is what he could have had, but like a much worse form of what I had. But I have a similar illness, so that's what he could have had: ulcer sclerosis, or he could have had congestive, heart shutdown. Did Itachi have heart failure? I would like to start the video off by saying I'm not a doctor. I'm a living patient who lives with a similar illness, and I've had a newly diagnosed heart disease. As one of the symptoms is coughing up blood, and I've had it twice and went to the hospital and had it treated, unlike Itachi Uchiha. So let's get straight to the point. His symptoms can be dry or wet cough, depending on what environment you're in and like how bad your illness is getting, and what the circumstances are, which he was in a very wet environment at the time, very muggy, very hot, it looks like, maybe a tropical place, possibly surrounded by water. Dizziness, fatigue, inability to exercise, loss of appetite, weight gain or weight loss already sounds very, very, very uncomfortable as well, too. And that doesn't sound too great. And depending on how well you can metabolize it, sounds horrible. Palpitations, chest pain, chest soreness, or weight gain, depending on, again, how you metabolize it. And I believe that he might have had coronary heart failure, which is maybe, we have evidence that he's coughing up blood and like he's gripping his chest, which that's where your heart is, if I know anything. And I think what his actual symptoms are is that he had a panic attack first, and then it was so intense that it like caused a stroke. And then after that, like during fighting, like Sasuke, he saw him and he had like a miniature panic attack while fighting him, and he tried to like hide the fact that he did have a panic attack, and like, how the Uchiha are really, really prideful and all of that stuff. And he might have had a stroke at one point beforehand, before the fight and all of that. And we just learned like after the fight that he was actually sick with an illness, and he might have been actually like, fighting, and might have been fighting some type of illness, but we don't get exactly what it is in the story. That's why it's always fun to theorize and just, go into this little rabbit hole right here and just like think, well, what did he have? Or like, what was the explanation for his illness? Because if you look up the symptoms, you look up vascular disorders, and you look up congestive heart failure, and ask Google if coughing up blood is one of the symptoms, it'll give you that answer, and it might say that that's one of the symptoms. That it's not a very well-known symptom, but it can happen, and it happened to me, so I should know, and I lived through it. And I also have an immune system illness too, and I've been fighting that for like my whole life, so I also know about that, and I take medicine for that to keep it up, like my immune system up and running. And I've been taking it since I was like 6 years old, and I have to take it in order to like survive. Like Itachi has to take those eye drops, but I don't believe that the immune system is actually what was destroying him at all. I believe that he might have had like a traumatizing moment in his life, and he had a panic attack, and then he had a stroke, possibly because of the thought of having to fight his younger brother, which he loves very much. And I believe that it hurt him very much emotionally, and it sent him into a stroke. And also having to fight enemies in between that time, he didn't have very much time to recover, if you think about it, because if you think about that time in general, there's only like maybe 4 or 5 years tops, with him like fighting Sasuke, and Sasuke going after him and going rogue, and like after all the stuff that happened with his clan. And like, can you imagine the amount of therapy that he probably had to go through, and like telling his therapist that, that happened, like a rogue ninja therapist, and then going to a rogue ninja doctor possibly, and then just like kind of telling him, yeah, hey, this is what happened, and like having to figure that out, how horrible that would be, and then having to go see these ninja doctors and stuff that gave him eye drops, which I think that they were wrong with his illness, and he needed to be seen within Konoha, and he needed to be seen a long time ago, and that he could have gotten treatment, and there was like no excuse for him and his brother to end up the way they did. I mean, they're good looking guys. I mean, I'll give them that, but like they just fight a lot. They just fight a lot. They're two good looking guys that fight each other a lot, and they just don't understand each other. It's just like really weird. But like all the cousins are like marrying within the clan, and it's just like, ugh. Can you imagine that situation, being how awkward that would be to try to tell anybody that? And it's like not being able to tell them that, and it's just like, yeah, just imagine how gross that would be. Just, ugh. And then having an illness on top of it, and having your brother trying to fight you, and then trying to like fight bad guys, and like also, but like being a double agent at the same time and being very confused. And if you think about it, like, I think that actually the whole entire like lump of the characters, like Orochimaru and Sasuke and Itachi and Kabuto, they were all in that same boat. Like, they didn't really know who they were very well, and I think that there was evidence to suggest that, especially with Sasuke and Itachi. He knew who he was and everything, but like Sasuke, Kabuto, and Orochimaru, and that's the reason he went to Orochimaru, because he wanted to like figure out who he was and stuff, and like having one of those really weird moments, and like basically wanting to create a name for himself too because of the Uchiha situation, and just like trying to do all of that. And well, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you guys in another video. Thanks. Bye-bye!